Here we are at the ancient house of Paddy McGill. This looks to be the barn from the outside. It's pretty much grown over. It's a pretty hard hike to get in there too. This is the interior of one room. Pretty good little climb there. It's the old telephone unit. Wow, it's ancient. This looks like chicken house or something maybe. This seems to be the barn. Pretty fascinating stuff. Old bucks and nails. Yeah. This is grown over and grown through pretty seriously. Old electrical. Look at that splice. Pretty fascinating. Old building. How did I get through here originally? Yeah, hang on a second. One moment. This is another room. This is another room. This has sheetrock and corrugated walls. Looks like there's a ceiling with wires. It's pretty much grown over to the point of insanity. This is the house here. Pretty neat. That is grown over big time. This must be the old facilities here. I see an old bathtub and a washing machine. That's really something there. The ceiling's falling in, I guess. Yeah. Interesting. Alright, let's climb out of this. Somehow. We climb out of this. Wow, how did I go? I need a machete. Machete. Oh yeah, it's good times. Whew. This is why we have polarizing filters on our cameras to keep the dirt away. Alright, that's it. The old homestead. The old barbed wire fence. And we're climbing out. Oh, yeah, good times. Alright, here we go. We're out. Next door to a little small church. Whew. Off some road in Mississippi lies the old homestead of the infamous, famous, legendary Paddy McGill.
The quest for the O'Fallin homestead. Not long ago, while weaving our way through quiet country roads on a road trip, I made a detour, a little side quest, if you will. My destination? The legendary homestead of an equally legendary figure, Paddy O'Fallin McGill. I had heard whispers, tales passed down, and the kind of family folklore that straddles the line between history and myth. I only half completed my quest, but I've made a solemn promise to myself. I shall return. From the questgiver, whose memories shine brighter than any roadside marker, came a vivid recollection of a place once full of life and labor. Behind the house, and just north of the large cinder block barn, stood the outbuildings. When the land operated as a dairy, these buildings were essential. Cows were milked there. Milk was bottled fresh by hand. One of the smaller rooms held massive 100-pound sacks of feed, corn, oats, whatever the animals needed. Another structure was transformed into a chicken house by the family, built with nothing more than grit and hard work. Mama was the real engine behind much of that work. She'd back the truck up herself, unload every heavy sack without waiting for help. Daddy? He'd always laugh and say the animals were her business. Ha! That was how things went back then, unspoken understandings between strong-willed people. Daddy's focus lay in his shop, housed inside the large cinder block barn. He was a welder by trade and a tinkerer by nature. He built gates, repaired motors, and created things out of metal that would last generations. During hurricane season, when storms brewed fierce along the coast, relatives would flee the beach and come inland. That barn became a fortress. Up to 9 vehicles could fit inside, all protected under one wide steel roof. Folks say that when Hurricane Katrina came roaring through, the metal roof was torn off like paper. But the walls, strong and stubborn, still stand. I wouldn't know myself. It's been over 30 years since I walked back there. The barn was flanked by stalls where the horses stayed when not out in the pasture. It's hard to picture now, but the front yard used to stretch 5 acres wide. Lush green grass, only one tall pine in the center, and a few young trees off to the side. The horses and cows, they kept it naturally mowed. It was a living lawn crew. The main house stood proudly in front of it all, perched up on brick pillars, maybe 2 or 3 feet off the ground. It was a good-sized home, built strong and simple. The wooden siding was laid in layers, slanted just so, to shed the rain. At the front was a wide-open porch, complete with a swing. That swing wasn't just furniture, it was a thrill ride. We'd push ourselves until we could see the sky and back. Sometimes the 3 boys who lived down the road, in the building that's now a church, would come over to push us even higher. There was an enclosed back porch, too. That's where I'd sleep during those sweltering summer nights. And that's where Silver would come looking for me. Silver wasn't a person. He was my paint pony, smart as a whip, and a bit of a magician when it came to gates. The backyard was fenced in, and Daddy tried all kinds of locks to keep him out. None of them worked. Silver would study those gates like a locksmith. He'd work the latch with his teeth, push the gate open with his shoulder, and walk right up to the back steps like he owned the place. Then, using his front hoof, he'd knock on the screen door. Not just once. He'd knock until someone came. Every single time, he'd get himself stuck. He'd try to squeeze onto the back porch and wedge himself between the walls and furniture. Then he'd whinny and fuss until I came out. Mama would hear him and holler, frustrated as ever, because it always took both of us to push him backward down the steps. That pony had no reverse gear. I named him Silver, of course. After the Lone Ranger comics I devoured back then. He lived up to the name. He was fearless. He'd cross any creek, stream, or river without hesitation. I'd give him the reins, and he'd always find the shallowest path, never once stumbling. If we got lost deep in the woods, which happened more than once, I'd just tie the reins to the saddle horn, lean back, and let Silver find the road. And he always did. Out of all the horses we ever owned, only one came close to Silver's brilliance. Her name was Star. She wasn't a locksmith like Silver, but she was strong, fast, and clever in her own right. She never unlocked gates, but there wasn't a task she couldn't learn. The O'Fallin homestead may look different now, weathered, quiet, and half swallowed by time, but to those who remember it, Every corner holds a story. The barn still stands, stubborn against the years. The porch swing may be gone, but the wind still carries the echoes of laughter. And somewhere in the breeze, if you listen close, you just might hear the faint sound of a pony's hoof tapping on a screen door, waiting for his rider. I may have only half completed my journey to find the O'Fallin homestead, but believe me, I'll be back.